Hello and welcome back to my Pokemon version 2 tutorial series, and today we're hopefully going to be getting the battle widget showing up and a little bit more functionality into our actual Pokemon. So let's open up this struct. So content, Pokemon folder, blueprints folder, structs folder, open up your Pokemon info. And I've completely forgot, but we got no damage on here, so we need a base damage. It'll be of type float. And we'll just call this base damage. Okay, compile or save, and we can exit that. Now, what we need to do is we're gonna actually have to set up each Pokemon for their attacks, I guess. So I think we're gonna do this in the base Pokemon. I'm not entirely sure yet. As I said, this isn't an entirely thought out series. I'm sort of doing everything on the fly, so subject to change. Just keep that in mind. Okay, so inside of our base Pokemon, we're going to make a function. We're going to call this well, not a graph. We're going to make a function. And we're going to call this attack movement. Okay, and I made another mistake, sorry. We just need to make it a custom event because some nodes are not available through function. So we're going to make a custom event, and then we'll call this attack movement. And what we're going to do is we're going to do AI move to. So AI move to, and the pawn will be self, and then the destination that we want to move it to is going to be like a couple of feet, or whatever you want to call it, units in front of this Pokemon itself. So to do that, we're going to just get the actor's forward vector. So actor location is fine, we can get that as well. Get actor forward vector, and then the forward vector we're going to times by a float, and that float will be about 400 units, I'd say, and then we're going to add that onto our original location, and that'll be the destination. I want to swap these around just to make it a little bit cleaner. We can put that around there, and the acceptance radius will be 0 because we want it to move exactly to where we want it to move to. Okay, so that will be our attack movement. And then what we would like to do next is sort out our widgets. So let's go to widgets, battle, and open up the battle WB. Okay, then inside of here we're going to have it here on the right, I think, because our character sort of shows up over here. So we need a vertical box, and we'll anchor it to the bottom right, and we'll just stretch it out to something that makes sense to us. And then on top of this vertical box we're going to have a horizontal box. On top of the horizontal box we're going to have two buttons. So one button, and we're going to set it to fill, and the horizontal box also needs to be on fill, and then we'll just duplicate this button. So we'll Control C, click on the horizontal box, and Control V, then we've got two buttons. Or rather, before doing that, we're going to add a text to the button, and then we will select both the text and the button and push Control C, select the horizontal box, and press Control V, and then we've got two buttons. And then we'll grab the horizontal box all the way down, so all of these, everything underneath the horizontal box, Control C, click on your vertical box, and Control V. Okay, so this is basically our first menu. I'm going to do art for it. I just haven't had the most time in the world. So anyway, this will be flee, this I think is bag fight, and the other one is Pokemon. Okay, compile. We might as well set all of the things to be the proper Pokemon font. Why not? And we should already be in full UI mode once we are here. So we're just going to do the other menus quickly. We can close that up, and we can rename this vertical box to main options. Okay, and we can wrap it in a widget switcher, and then that will already be number 1. And then we'll just take this main options and Control C and paste it onto the widget switcher with Control V. And now we've got this main options 1. We'll just set this one to be hidden, so we're always working on the main options 1. And then this fight we're going to change to attack 1, attack 2, and attack 3. And attack 4. I think there's a back button as well. Let's just look this up real quick. Pokemon Fight UI. I think there's a back button where it doesn't even close the other widget, so we might not need to do that. Let's go to the classic one. Just click on here. So we get asked what will we do, and then we'll say fight, run, or bag. I guess we get a little PP and the attack type on the right. It's obviously got to be a back button. Is there no back button? I haven't played Pokemon in so long. Sorry to mess you guys around like this, but I do want to get it right. I guess we'll add a back button. I think there should be a back button. Anyway, we'll grab this whole main options 1 and we'll rename it to attack box, and we'll actually keep the other one visible at all times. So we'll just grab our attack box, bring it out here a little bit, and we'll actually put it probably right next to it, and we'll bring it off of the widget switcher. So now it's not on the widget switcher anymore, or it shouldn't be. Oops. Let's put it on the canvas panel. And where did it go? We need to anchor it now. So attack box, anchor, bottom right, or we can actually just anchor it to the bottom. And let's move it over to the bottom. Get it in place here. And I think that'll be fine. Okay, compile. And by default its visibility is going to be on hidden. So let's find this attack ball visibility hidden. Okay, compile. And then when we click attack, we want to set it to be not hidden. Anyway, let's open up our widget switcher, make that visible. It was unnecessary for the time being. And then we'll go to our fight button and go on clicked. And then when we click fight, we're going to set our attack box to be visible. Set visibility to visible. Okay. That will be fine for now. We're going to add functionality for the rest of everything else. I just want to start fighting, doing something, you know. Okay. So now what we need to do is we need a character reference. So event construct, we're going to cast to our player base, and we're going to get the player character as the object, and then we need to get his Pokemon. So get Pokemon or let's just promote him to a variable, and we'll call this player reference, and then from the player reference we'll get Pokemon in the world, and we'll promote this to a variable. Or actually we'll just have this on an event tick. We'll leave that variable as it is there, and on the event tick we're going to get our player reference, and then we're gonna get his Pokemon in the world, and then we'll set this variable that we sort of created. We'll just rename it to active Pokemon. You don't really need to worry about the tick because it's only active during the battle phase. Once it's done battling, then the widget will be gone. Okay, so now we've got an active Pokemon. Now when we click attack, we want our active Pokemon to go over to the other Pokemon and attack him. So on our attack 1 button, we're just going to use this one for now. We're going to get our active Pokemon, and then we're going to cast to base Pokemon, and then we're going to call this whatever it was called, attack movement. We're going to call attack movement. Attack movement, compile, and on this attack movement, right when we fire it, we need to get the mesh's location. So get world location, and what we're going to do is promote this to a variable. I'm going to call this original location, and just plug it in like that, and then we'll duplicate this AI move to, and on success we're going to run a little delay for when we attack, or we might even call this afterwards, so we'll make it its own function. That's fine. So we'll run a delay on success, a delay of something like 2 seconds, so you can do his attack, maybe 3, maybe 4, I don't know, we'll see how I do the animations. And then we're going to do another custom event, and this one we'll call move back from attack. And for move back from attack, we're gonna go to the plug in the execution pin to this AI move to, duplicate this self, and we want him to move to our original location. So acceptation radius should be 0. And then we'll call this event over here, move back from attack, and then that way after we attack we should move back, and then we'll set turn over. So we'll have a variable, a boolean, and we'll say is sorry about that, player turn question mark, and on completion of moving back we'll set this to false. And then by going into on events construct of this or we'll have to set this variable when we spawn our Pokemon. So what we're going to do is go to our Pokemon folder, blueprints, actors, player base, and then when we spawn our Pokemon for battle, so set as in battle, this Pokemon, we're going to get its that variable that we just made, that I forgot the name, is player turn. So we're going to set as player turn. It's a bit of a weird one. Pokemon in the world, cast to base Pokemon, and then we are going to set is player's turn to true. And this way it should be our turn from when we start battling. So we'll always get the first run. We'll change this to a speed thing later on for the Pokemon speed, but for the time being we're using this. We will use this anyway, pretty much. So let's see how this works, or if it works. And that is the question. So let's go pick up Charmander. We've got Charmander. Let's get Blue to run over to us, or walk over to us, whatever. And then we should go into battle. And I didn't set the mouse cursor to be visible. That was a mistake. Okay, so in your player base, you want the mouse cursor to be visible right after doing this. So get your player controller, drag off, and say set show mouse cursor to true, and compile. And now we can do this again. Sorry about that. This time I'll pick Squirtle, so we know all our starters work at least. And we'll just wait for Blue. And there he is. Okay, now we can click fight, and that does show up. We need to set the clipping and whatnot, and we'll click attack 1, and he goes over and he attacks 2 seconds, and he should come back. Ooh. Okay, so he hasn't come back, so we've got a little bit of an issue here. We are going to make this acceptance radius 23, just in case it's the character, Blue's character, getting in the way. Let's get Bulbasaur this time, so now we got all of them. Stops talking to me, Oak. I think I'm gonna set Blue's speed up again if this takes another test run. Anyway, so we can click fight, attack. Come on, move back, move back. Yeah, he moved back. Okay, and then we're going to set his rotation after he completes moving back as well. So on success, moving back, we'll set this to 20. We'll set this to 0. This has to go back to the exact location. Okay, so on success, we want to set his rotation to. Or we'll just save his rotation here and set his rotation after that. Okay, so off of the mesh, we'll drag and say get world rotation and promote it to a variable and call this original rot. And plug it in. And then at the end of this, we're going to get our mesh and we're going to say set world rotation. We can even do this a little bit fancier, so it goes over time. We'll do a timeline, and we'll play it from the start, not just play. Double click in the timeline, add a float track, set the float track to 2 seconds. You need to push enter and then hold shift and click twice for 2 keyframes, and we'll set this one to time 0 value 0 and this one to time 2 value 1. Okay, compile and go back to event graph. Then we're going to do a loop, and what we're going to do is loop rotator, and we'll plug the alpha into this new track 0. Then we'll do this set world rotation into the update. Off of finished, we will set the turn to be finished. So we'll do something like that. Add a little reroute, and then we need to set its rotation to this, and its rotation will be from its current rotation to its original rotation. So B will be original rotation, and then we'll get world rotation off of the mesh and plug that into A and compile. And now this should have him rotating back on us at the end of his attack, or rotating back to what he should be on. So come on, Blue, come on, come attack me, my buddy. Let's have a look, see what happens. And now we can attack, go attack, do your attack, and come back, and rotate. And that is perfect. And then we're going to want Blue's Pokemon to fire off his attack. Alright. So, what we're going to do is on Blue's Pokemon, base Pokemon, is player owned. We need to set these Pokemon to being player owned or not, so we'll add a variable of type boolean, and we'll call this player owned. Okay, sorry about the capitals, but that sort of works in my favor to a little bit. Okay, so player base, when we every single time we spawn our Pokemon, we need to set player owned. So we'll drag off of this and say set player owned to true. So every time the Pokemon's in the world, we need it to be player owned. Okay, so go back to spawn Pokemon as well, and off of here we're gonna cast to base Pokemon, and then we'll set player owned to true, and this way we'll be player owned. And then on base Pokemon we're gonna do event any damage, and then we're going to check if he's owned by the player or not. We'll do a branch to do this, and if he is not owned by the player, we're going to call him to move and do this whole attack maneuver. So we'll just call attack movement. Movement. Alright, we probably want to delay on this. This whole thing takes about 3 to 4 seconds, so we'll do a delay of 5 seconds just to make sure, that way you'll have like some decision making, and yeah, we'll work out a proper thing for this later on, but yeah. We're going to need a function. We're going to create a function. We'll call this do damage, and on this we're just going to have apply damage, and we'll get our Pokemon details and break it, and we'll plug in our base damage, and that's just for now. We'll do it per attack because each attack's going to be different, and we'll have swapping attacks and that type of thing. Damaged actor should be we should do a sphere trace or something. Okay, so we'll just do a sphere trace by channel, or yeah, sphere trace by channel, and we'll just move this stuff over a little bit. On the out hits we'll break it, and the damaged actor will be any hit actor. Damage causer will be the Pokemon itself, and event instigator can also be itself, so we'll just leave that open, I guess. And the sphere, we want it to come up from the mesh, so get world location, and we'll just plug it into the start and the end, and we'll do a radius of 150, and it does ignore itself already, and we'll do a camera trace and compile, and then if this hits the other Pokemon, it should fire his hit event to come and attack us again. Okay, so we'll just set our base damage to 12 or whatever. I know those are the two closest keys to my fingers. Now we can try and test this out, I think. Pick up a Pokemon, and I should have set blue speed up because it's really getting annoying him walking over. I suppose he would be running at us anyway. So So there we go, fight, and attack, and come back, turn around, come on Squirtle, come attack us. I think we need to put the traces visibility on so we can see what's happening here. For duration, it's ignoring itself. Maybe that's shouldn't be a problem. We didn't actually call this anyway. That's the problem. So we need to go to our battle, WB, attack movement, and we'll actually just call it on success here before we move back. So on success, immediately as we get there, we're going to call our do damage function, and that should, for all intents and purposes, hit Squirtle. Oh, yeah, it should be Squirtle. Okay, so let's keep it Squirtle. I got Charmander, he should have Squirtle. Keep in mind that Green is also picking up her Pokemon and does have her Pokemon as well, so that is happening. Okay, so there was the trace. We did the trace, and it didn't seem to hit Squirtle, so it's obviously not big enough. We're going to go to this do damage, and we'll set the trace to 300. This is just temporary. We're going to have a proper method of attacking. It's just video's dragging a bit, and you know, I got things to do. So here comes Blue. Come on, Blue. And we can attack, and it did not hit Squirtle. I wonder why. Let's do a multi-sphere trace by channel. So we'll drag off of here and do multi-sphere trace by channel, and we'll trace for camera. We start and end 300, and we'll draw it for the duration just so we can see it hit the actors, and then off of this out hits we'll have to do a for each loop and plug that in, and we'll just plug this into apply damage, and this array element will plug into this broken hit result. And this is the last time I'm going to test this, and we'll have to move it on to the next video, unfortunately. I really don't want to, but it is dragging. Okay, so get over here, Blue. Going for the attack, and it hit him. It did hit him, so that should have applied damage, and we're gonna wait 5 seconds, and here he comes. Yeah, he hit us. Awesome. Awesome, awesome, awesome. We are player controlled, so it should not fire R1, and we should be able to fire whoops. Okay, don't know what happened with that one. Oh, his rotation didn't loop for some reason. We can have a quick squiz at this. I don't want to spend too much more time on this because we did get the attack working, and I'll carry on that afterwards. So why is he not looping? We'll just make sure this happens, just in case he doesn't make his full thingy. We'll just set his rotation to his original route, and then play from start. Okay, target should be the mesh, and this should hopefully get our Pokemon doing what we want it to do, and I can close off this video. So here comes Blue. Very slow and confident, and now we can go and hit him, and we did hit him and his Squirtle. Screw you, Blue. And now Squirtle comes over, hits us, and you see Charmander did rotate back to the rotation. Let's hope he goes forward instead of back, and he went back. Damn, what was that about? So we've got an issue with that, and we need to also add some checks to stop attacking if we are attacking, that type of thing. But we have some base code here in the works. We need to do cleanup on it, but for now this is going to be fine. I think. Let us do this. We'll take this original rot and we rather get actor rotation, and we'll set it to the actor's rotation, and I think that'll work better. Then over here as well, we'll just set actor rotation and we'll set it to that rotation, and we'll get rid of this one and say get actor rotation once again, plug it in like such. Okay, compile, and again we'll get rid of that, get this set actor location, duplicate it, plug it straight in here, plug that into the play, and we'll do that. Target will be self this time. And this is my last test on this, and I think I'm going to have to start doing some structure on the videos beforehand because they're getting a little bit bigger with a little bit more to do. So here comes blue, and now we can attack. He comes back and he rotates back to how he's supposed to be. Squirtle attacks, and we should go forward this time. Yes. Okay, so we've fixed that issue. I'm going to continue on in the next video. Please like and subscribe, and I'll keep the videos coming. Cheers.